Hello everyone and welcome to Com Science Simplified. In today's video, we will have a quick glance into arrow functions, a killer ES6 feature. We will look into how we can simplify our code by using arrow functions in place of classic functions. So let's get straight into it. When we say classic functions, we mean function statements and function expressions. If you are not familiar with them, have a look at our video regarding the same topic here. Basically, these were the two ways in which we could create functions before ES6 came along and simplified our lives. Let us see how. ES6 introduced the arrow function syntax for representing functions. When we write arrow functions, we do it in the following way. The arguments to be supplied are wrapped in round brackets, followed by an equal to and greater than symbol, which is the unique identification of an arrow function. After that comes the curly braces, which mark the body of the function. Whenever we see this type of syntax, we are sure that an arrow function is being used to accomplish the task at hand. Let us dig into that a little bit more. But before that, first let us get to know the advantages of using arrow functions. On a broader level, there are two main advantages. The first one has to do with the way the this binding is handled inside these functions. And the second one is primarily the ease of usability. We will only discuss about the second one in the scope of this video. The first one will be covered in a future video where we'll also look into how the this variable binds in normal functions and then compare it with arrow functions. Let's start by converting a classic function into an arrow function. Take this multiply function for example. Here's the equivalent arrow function code. We dropped the function keyword and introduced the trademark equal to greater than symbol between the function parameter brackets and the body. And that's mostly about it. We have the arrow function implementation of that function. Let us now see how we can use the power of arrow functions to simplify what we constructed just now. We notice that the function can actually be written using just a single statement instead of two in this way. Now, we notice that the function is just returning an expression, in which case we can drop the curly braces and the return statement as well. And thus, we can write the function finally in this format. Quite an improvement. That is the beauty of arrow functions. We can simplify the code by getting rid of the unnecessary bits and pieces like the curly braces and the return keyword because it was implicit. In case we need to return an object from the arrow function instead of an expression, how can we do it? Let's say we need to extract some parameters from an object and return those parameters inside another new object constructed on the go. We can do that by surrounding the object that we are returning inside round brackets. This is how it looks like. Thus, inside the round brackets, JavaScript engine considers the curly braces as an object literal being returned and not as a body of a function. And that is how we can return an object from inside a function in a single line of code. Let's focus on the function argument part now. Our multiply function takes two arguments and returns their product. The square function takes a single argument and returns the square for that number. In that case, as we are just taking one single argument, we can drop the round brackets like this. But let's say we have to supply 0 arguments. In that case, we need to still write the empty brackets anyways, else JavaScript throws an error. Thus, we are allowed to drop the argument brackets only when we are passing one single argument. Here are a few examples of how we can simplify the code in cases where we pass anonymous functions to the methods like map, filter, etc. Here, we are passing the function to map, which returns the length of each string in the array. This function can be so easily programmed using arrow function like this. Here, as we are passing a single argument, we got rid of the round brackets, and as we are returning an expression that is string.length, we don't even need the curly braces nor the return keyword. That's the beauty of it. Clear and concise. Consider this filter method. It takes in a function and runs it over all the array elements. Then returns an array of all elements for which the condition evaluated to true. The function we are passing here evaluates to true for all elements greater than 3. See how easily we are able to represent the function in arrow function format. No round brackets required, no return keyword, all of it in a single line. That is the power of arrow functions. Let us summarize the rules which we use to simplify our functions using arrow functions. If our function is a single line function returning an expression, drop the curly braces. If passing only a single argument, drop the round brackets around that argument. If we are passing no arguments at all, empty brackets still need to be written before the equal to greater than symbol. If we are returning an object, surround that object in round braces so that JavaScript gets to know it is an object. So that was a quick walkthrough about the features of the widely loved arrow functions. Hope you are now well equipped to convert your classic everyday functions into arrow functions. Subscribe to this channel so that you get notified when we upload the next videos in this series where we dig into deeper details. Check out our other videos as well. We believe you will like them. See you next time. Until then, take care and happy learning.